before Sophia became an officer desperately chasing criminals. Sophia was just a girl who once had a family. Life had been good then. Their parents worked hard but always came home smiling. The four of them shared meals, laughter, and stories. Sophia looked after her little sister Celine with the seriousness of someone far older than 10. At 5, Celine was small, shy, and always at Sophia's side. Everything ended one rainy night. On their way back from a burial, the car spun off the road. By the time help arrived, both parents were gone. The orphanage became their new world. It was cold, crowded, and full of children who cried themselves to sleep. Food was never enough, and comfort was rare. Sophia tried to shield Celine from the harshness of it. She saved scraps for her, brushed her hair with her hands, and told her that as long as they were together, they would be fine. To seal that promise, Sophia made 2 bracelets from bits of string and thread she found in the yard. They were rough, but they were theirs. One for Celine, one for Sophia. Whenever Celine grew scared, Sophia reminded her to look at the bracelet and remember they still had each other. But promises couldn't stop what came next. A family arrived one day, looking to adopt. Their smiles lingered on Celine. They called her sweet, gentle, perfect. They barely looked at Sophia. She was too old, already 10, and families wanted children they could shape from the beginning. Sophia begged them not to separate her from Celine, but her words meant nothing. Celine was taken, her small hand slipping from Sophia's grasp. The bracelets no longer touched. The sound of the orphanage door closing was louder than any scream. Sophia was left behind, clutching her own bracelet as if it could fill the space her sister left behind. She stayed in that orphanage until she turned 18. By then, no one wanted her. She aged out with no family waiting, no money, no guidance. The world outside was hard. She worked low jobs, struggled for food, and fought to keep a roof over her head. But through it all, she never forgot Celine. The promise she made in the orphanage never left her. One day she would find her sister, and they would be together again. Her determination carried her forward. She pushed herself to build a life strong enough to keep that promise. She chose the police force, at first for survival, but soon it became more. She discovered a purpose in chasing criminals, in fighting the kind of darkness that had broken her own family. Her name grew inside the department. She was relentless, disciplined, unshaken by fear. But beneath the uniform, she still carried the memory of a small girl and a frayed bracelet. Then came the name that would change everything: Raven. At first, it was just another file on her desk, a string of killings carried out with precision. No mistakes, no clear motive. The figure behind it remained faceless. The only trace left behind was a single black feather at each scene, as if to mock those who tried to follow. The press called this Phantom Raven, and the name stuck. Raven was clever, skilled, untouchable. Each escape left the police more frustrated, but Sophia's resolve only deepened. To her, Raven was not just another criminal. Raven was the test of everything she had built herself to be. And so, standing over another crime scene with a black feather left on the floor, Sophia made her vow. She would not stop, she would not bend, she would not rest, until Raven was in her hands. Sophia pulled the trigger and Raven dropped lifeless to the ground. The moment felt unreal. She stepped closer, her breath ragged, her hands trembling. She reached down to pull the mask away. And then Sophia jolted upright in bed, sweat damp on her skin. Her pulse raised as if she had truly fired the shot. It had only been a dream, one she had lived through too many times. Even in her sleep, Raven owned her thoughts. She stared at the ceiling, forcing her breathing to slow. The hunt never left her, not when she walked, not when she rested. Raven was more than a case. Raven was an obsession. At headquarters, the briefing room was filled with tired faces. Another victim, another man dead in his own home. The mark of Raven left behind, a single black feather resting on the polished floor. But this killing, like the others, wasn't random. Each victim was someone of power, influence, or wealth. Politicians, judges, businessmen. All of them carried histories that were more shadow than light. One by one, the pieces began to connect. The victims were not strangers to each other. They had crossed paths in deals that never reached the public eye. Decisions whispered in closed rooms. It was as though someone had made a list and Raven was moving through it, striking down names with deadly precision. Theories grew. Some believed Raven was working alone, others that someone powerful had hired the assassin to silence old partners. No matter the motive, the killings were cold, methodical, and always a step ahead of law enforcement. Suffia studied every detail she could. She memorized patterns, replayed footage, compared files until her eyes blurred. Raven was clever, yes, but Raven was still human. Humans made mistakes. Suffia only needed one. That night, an informant tipped them off. Another